to Nelson Airport here in the northern half of the South Island of New Zealand. Directly behind me is an Origin Air Jetstream 32. I didn't even know that these aircraft existed in New Zealand, let alone I didn't even know that this airline existed. Maybe next time I'm here I'll give them a shot. Today I'll be flying with Sounds Air on a Pilatus PC-12 bound for Wellington. I first visited New Zealand back in 2013, and I remember seeing tiny orange and white turboprop aircraft buzzing around, and I remember asking myself, what airline is that? Being 11 at the time, I had no real way of experiencing that airline up until this point. After doing a bit of research over 10 years later, I discovered Sounds Air, which is the very aircraft and airline I remember seeing. Let's talk a little bit about the aircraft before check-in. For more than 30 years, Sounds Air have been operating short hops across most of the cities in New Zealand around the Cook Strait, which is the small body of water separating the North and South Island of New Zealand. They operate a fairly small fleet consisting of only two aircraft types, the Cessna 208 Caravan and the Pilatus PC-12 Commuter, both of which have between 9 or 12 seats. Their home base is Blenheim on the South Island, and it links 9 destinations across the country, with all flights being less than an hour long. With high hopes for a short and sweet flight across the Cook Strait, I entered the terminal building, not knowing the colossal shit show that was about to ensue. The Sounds Air check-in desk is located in the center of the check-in area, which is off to the left of the building, in between Origin Air and Air New Zealand, which as expected had the largest check-in area. Once I had completed the check-in process, I received my boarding pass and was informed of a slight 20-minute delay due to an aircraft swap in Wellington. You might be wondering why earlier I blacked out a staff member's face, and well, my past self will explain everything. So guys, all checked in for my flight. Sounds Air does not actually have proper boarding passes. They give you these pieces of paper laminated with boarding pass written on them. First for me. You might be wondering why I'm filming out here and not inside the terminal, or why I'm actually doing this. I nearly got arrested just now. The ground staff here at Nelson Airport, specifically one woman who I shall not name for legal reasons, decided that she didn't like that I was filming and threatened that she would have me arrested if I didn't stop. I put my camera away straight away and I had a chat with her, and I said to her, look, can you explain to me why you want to arrest me? And she said, because you're filming on private property. And I said, this is not private property, this is public property. And are you going to arrest every single man, woman and child that takes a photo when their plane arrives? It just doesn't make sense. How is it any different from me? And she said, oh, it's for security reasons. And so I said, okay, no problem. I will put my camera away, but just know this, it will go on my video. So I just thought that, you know what, let's get out of the airport, film this, and stay out here until the plane arrives, which is what I told the check-in agent. And she was lovely. Great. Sounds Air so far? Great. But Nelson ground crew? Not so much. I decided to stay away from the terminal as much as possible until the arrival of my inbound aircraft. The wait was thankfully not too long, roughly 30 minutes. Pulling in on stand today was a Pilatus PC-12 registered as Zulu Kilo Papa Lima X-Ray. She was built at Pilatus's HQ in Stans, Switzerland in 1995, being delivered brand new to a private operator before she was sold to Sounds Air in 2003, sporting this awesome livery and making this aircraft 29 years old. Heading back to the terminal, I became much more cautious about who I was around and if anyone was watching me. As the Sounds Air check-in agent was still at the counter, and I knew that there was going to be no crew on board, I asked for her permission to film on board, to which she was more than happy for me to do so. Eventually, the boarding call was made, roughly 10 minutes late, and we made our way out to the aircraft on stand. The Pilatus PC-12 commuter is a 14-meter-long T-tailed turboprop aircraft designed in the early 90s, meant to compete directly with my favourite aircraft, that being the Beechcraft King Air 200. Sounds Air does not have seat selection on any of their flights, so seat selection is based on when you board the aircraft, which is why I was second on board. The aircraft is laid out in a 1-1 configuration with 9 seats in a commercial layout rather than the corporate configuration. The seat itself has 33 inches of pitch and 19 inches of width. There is no tray table. However, in the seat back pocket you'll find a safety card and air sickness bags. Above are individual reading lights and air vents. The seats also have these car-style headrests, which were very difficult to move. Soon, the crew received clearance to start up, and the prop began to turn 17 minutes behind our scheduled departure time. With one final wave from the amazing Sounds Air ground staff, we taxied to runway 02 via Alpha and Alpha 1. Now please enjoy this unedited takeoff. After takeoff, we spun around over the airport, setting up an easterly course for Wellington. Flight time today is 24 minutes, covering a distance of 101 miles or 162 kilometers, cruising at 11,000 feet. Straight after takeoff, we flew directly over downtown Nelson, and specifically down below was the suburb of Tahuanui. As there is no flight attendant, in-flight service, Wi-Fi, or entertainment on board, the only thing that made things interesting was the stunning view outside and the fascinating interior of the aircraft. This aircraft type has 3 exits on board: the forward exit, the overwing exit, and the rear cargo door, which sits right beside me, and as the only person beside it, in an emergency I was required to operate it, which I received a special briefing on. As we left the coast behind, so too did we leave the clouds behind, revealing the beautiful blue waters off the coast of the South Island. However, as we left the smoothness of the South Island behind, the weather changed drastically to severe turbulence, which, being in a small aircraft, instantly transported us to a roller coaster ride. Soon we commenced our descent into Wellington. Anyone that has flown into Wellington Airport in the past has at some point had to deal with the thrilling ride that takes place during descent. The mountainous region and strong northwesterly winds blowing across the short 22-kilometer stretch of water separating the two islands makes for one of the most consistently turbulent approaches in the world. If you have a fear of flying, or if you are a nervous flyer, this is definitely one airport you need to avoid, as even I got a tad nervous. It also didn't help that we were in a tiny turboprop aircraft. Now please enjoy this thrilling, unedited landing. After landing, we taxied back to the terminal via Alpha 6, Alpha, Bravo 9, Charlie 9 and Echo. We pulled into remote stand 4, 19 minutes behind our scheduled arrival time. Stepping off the aircraft and down onto the apron, there was only one thought that was going through my mind, and that was, what an incredible experience on board Sounds Air. I thanked the ground crew and praised the pilot for his skillful and safe landing, to which he responded that it wasn't easy. Looking back on the whole trip today with Sounds Air, I was very much satisfied with the entire service, excluding for one very particular Nelson Airport ground staff member. Despite the lack of an in-flight service, which I didn't really care for, as the flight was so short, it would have seemed excessive to have one, and not only that, having no crew on board, besides the pilots, meant that an in-flight service was impossible anyways. The only thing I could criticize is that there was no physical boarding pass, which I personally really like having as a keepsake and reminder of the flight in the future. Maybe one day I'll get to keep one. Ignoring the delay, which had zero impact on my day, the flight went perfectly, and if you ever find yourself in New Zealand looking for a quick and easy way to travel domestically, not to mention without having to pay an arm and a leg for Air New Zealand, I would highly recommend Sounds Air, as in a sense, this was almost a private flight. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment and subscribe. Make sure to check out the other videos I have on my YouTube channel, and also I now have a Discord server. Feel free to join, the link is at the top of the description. And don't forget to ring that notification bell if you enjoy my content, and if you'd like to see more, I post my videos every Friday at 8 PM Sydney time, and I hope to see you again in the next one. See you later!